Greetings and welcome to this training video about building a form. Alright, in this video we are going to talk about building forms. So let's say you've got a website that you know you want to have a form that captures information like first name, email, phone address, things like that. We are going to show you how to build that out. So before you can actually use a form on a page, you have to build one. And what you're going to do is you're going to navigate to the site section of the platform here, and you're going to go to Forms, and you're going to go to Builder. OK. So once you're in the Builder, you're going to click Create New Form. This is going to bring up the form builder for us. And what we have to do is build the sections that we want. Now the first thing I recommend you do is to change the name of the form. So click Options and change the name of the form. So in this case, we've got a free comic. Let's call it Free Comic. You want to name your form something that you can remember. When you start building out multiple pages, multiple forms, you don't want to leave it as like Form 1 or Form 3, because it can get confusing. I strongly recommend you retitle your form. Now the first thing that we want to do is we want to add the contacts, or what information we want to have in the form. So most likely you want to know the person's name. So let's add first name and last name. All you got to do is over here on this right hand panel you find which elements you want to add into the form, and then you drag them over to the page. So we've got a first name, last name, we've got a phone, we've got email. But as you can see, you've got a lot of options. Here you can add an address, city, state, country, postal code, website. You could add source, date of birth. You can add in text, HTML, images, captures, and a button. You can also add in custom fields. Let's say that you want to get a piece of information from the form that is not listed here. Let's say you want to know what is your biggest challenge. Right, so what you can do is select over here this custom fields button. We are on the standard here. We want to select custom fields and add a custom field now. This is also going to add a custom field in your CIM that'll save this information. So like we talked about when we were doing the CIM videos where you add custom fields into the records, this will also add one there as well. So let's add in some text and we'll call this what is your biggest challenge. OK, and we'll click save, and once we do that, it's going to build one over here that we can drag in. What's your biggest challenge? Now it'll save that information. Now next what we want to do is we want to add a button. So make sure you click on standard. You can jump between custom fields and standard by clicking standard or custom fields. And we are going to scroll to the bottom of our list and we are going to add in a button. Now when we first add in a button, it doesn't have any styling. It says button. It looks kind of ugly. So what we want to do is highlight that button and we want to customize it a little bit. So we want to change the text of what it says on it. So we'll change this to submit by adding in the submit there. You can also change the alignment. Do you want it in the center? Do you want it on the right or left? You can also change the width. Do you want it to go all the way across the bottom of the form and make it a big button? You can change the background colors to match your page. So if you've got a blue page or something, maybe you match up the colors, and if you memorize the hex codes on your pages, you can actually use those here to get it exactly to be the same color you're looking for. In our case, let's choose black. And if you accidentally X out, you can just reselect it. And the menu pops up here. You can add borders. You can change the text color. So maybe you want it to be red text. You can do that. If you want to change a border around it, you can add in a border. If you want to make the buttons curved, you can play with the corner radius. If you want to add in some padding and make it a fat button, you can do that. So you can play with these settings to make your form look great. Now, once you've got all of the details that you want in there, this is what's going to show on the site. So if you need to add additional information in your form, you could add maybe a text field up at the top where you have some instructions. Maybe you want to add in some capture to make sure you're not getting a bunch of crappy opt-ins. You can do that. If you want to remove something, just select the field and press the X. Now once you've got your submit button good, you've got all the fields that you want for your form. Now it's time to figure out what's going to happen once that form gets filled out. So if you click on options on submit, you have two options. Here you can have it go to a web page. So for example, if you have a funnel, maybe you send them to a thank you page that says, hey, thank you for opting in, here's your freebie. Or maybe you want it to just display a message. So if we want to display a message, you can click message and just say thank you, and now it will display that once they opt in, it'll just have a little message right here that says thank you for opting in. So we'll click Save Form down at the bottom. Once your form is saved, now you can use this form on a website. So let's jump back over to our builder. Here we've got a page. We'll edit it, and let's add in a funnel on the page. So just like you do with normal elements like images and videos, all you got to do, click Add in Form. And what it's going to do is bring up a form picker. Now this is where the titling comes into play when you start getting lots of forms on. Here, from building out your application, you want to be able to remember what form it was. So click your form, and as you can see now, the form is onto our page. Thanks for listening to this video about building a form. For more videos like this, or to make a request for additional training videos, please go to the main menu and add a comment ticket.